We are cutting some vinyl. I've got to make a sign. Cut, cut, cut. And this does not look like I lined it up right. Let's see. I may have. It's been a while since I used it, so I have to make sure it's all aligned, and I'm not positive if I lined it up right or not. I think I have it. If not, we'll just make a few changes and we'll get it set. I'm still thinking about trying to hook up that big one. You know, the commercial one that I own. Yeah, I bought it. Spent big money on it. So, if I can get it to work. Okay. I'm going to have to change the cutting knife on this, the blade. I see a little bit of a wrinkle here, so we're going to have to take care of that. I knew I wasn't totally aligned, but I figured, let me try it. I mean, it's not that it's wasted, I just can't use that, but I can use everything else that's here. So far, this one's good, this one's good. I don't know if you can see it or not. There should be another one coming up here too. What I was wondering if, I really don't know if it would work or not. I know if I came with a pencil type thing too, so it'll draw. But if I was to buy a small laser, would it work? You know, then I can burn this right into a material. See how it's wrinkling right there? That's because you've got a hang up back there, see it? That may have done it. Wrong cut. Now what's the cutting? Okay, whatever it is. I thought I was going to have to change the blade, but I don't. It was just the paper screwing up. Now that little pick I was talking about was also used to clean these out. The big machine works nice. If I can get it operating, I'll show you how it works. Okay. Right there, we got a little bit of an issue because we did a little bit of a slide cut, so that's fine. Which one are these? I think it's in this one. This is where I have all my X-Actos and my gizmos. Okay, so let's get this one out of here. I had a little bit of a malfunction with the Y. See, some of these spiders sometimes they grab in, and if they have too many zigzags, it will hang up, and that's when you got to pay attention to it. Sometimes it's worth cutting the vinyl in little pieces. In other words, cut this out like this and here, just on the vinyl side. So as you're peeling off, you're only peeling off a small amount of vinyl, because if the vinyl flips over and sticks to itself, it'll ruin all that. Okay, put that there. Take the U out of there. Come on. Take the E, the E, the E. I've got about 1,000 fonts.
When I showed the video, she was really shocked and frightened by what she saw.
But not all fonts will work. Well, they'll work, but they won't look like you think they're going to look. Because some of them are made for drawing, you know, like a picture type, not so much a cutter. So for instance, if it was like a shadow effect, it would cut this with the shadow, which means it'll look distorted. Because the shadow and it will be all the same color. So you can separate them, or sometimes just cut another batch with the shadow and then overlay them. But at this point, we're getting there. A little bit of time. A little bit.
She said, why don't you post it on Facebook? Because your account is private. And then my niece calls me and says, please put
Come
your
on,
account
I don't want it on my
to show
phone.
dad.
This is the most tedious part, actually.
It's gotta work.
Okay.
But watching this video go viral,
Especially if you're doing a lot and they're small, because the picking really gets to be a pain in the butt.
because I was still
It does, it does. Okay, so now this, I will put a piece of transfer paper over it.
packed my stuff and
And that will, let me get that out of there. You don't want that on the transfer.
necessarily in one location. They
There.
want 'em
And that will allow me to take it off of here and put it onto whatever it is I want to put it on. Now that I can't do here. I need a hard surface for that because I got to be able to push down so it'll stick and stick evenly and clean.
I was scared that whatever was the whole
All right, so if I go back over here, we can see what. Okay, so let's do it done. Unhit that, just hit that, and I should be able to cut that, and we should be okay. Now I still have to cut this part, but I don't want to cut them together because it's either going to be too long, which is wasting material, or I got to rearrange it all, which I don't want to do. So I'm just going to make two different cuts. So we'll come up here to the cutter icon, ding bing bang, bing a bing a bing bang, and we're going to hit send. And away we go. It's like watching paint dry. Now see, this should not be done in here, like I said. I'm cutting it. I can pick it as long as it's small, but if not, I have to do it in there. That's one of the reasons why I have that larger board. And if it gets any bigger than that, then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do because I'm not set up like I used to be. I used to have a 4-foot by 8-foot piece of ply, a nice finished ply with a miracle board type thing over that you use for cutting. It had all the measurements on it, and it was on an angle. You know, it was just like an artist or an easel type thing. Okay, that one's done. And again, I don't need all this, so I'm going to take some of this vinyl off because this part, if I slice this, I can still use that. This machine will cut, I think, as low as 2.5 inches, you know, in width. And the length is whatever the size of the roll I put on it, it'll cut. So if I want to cut something, this machine will only cut up to like, I want to make sure I'm not cutting any of the letters here. Okay. This machine will only cut up to maybe like a 15-inch wide, but I can cut something 15 by 200 feet if I have a 200-foot roll, and it'll just keep going. The same with the printer I used to have when I had the large format printer. That was one of those things to where it would just keep cutting or printing, and it'll print as long as the print has to be. When we had the condo, I actually, see now here's what I mean. I'm going to take this and just kind of slice the plastic, the vinyl. Hopefully that's what I'm doing here. And we're going to go this way and that way. Okay. Now I'll get my little picker. And now you want to pull it off as tight, with as tight a corner as possible here. You want to watch it because if it didn't cut right, it's going to pull. And if this side bends over, it's going to ruin the whole thing. So you just have to kind of pay attention, that's all. That's why sometimes I don't mind cutting the top layer of the vinyl, as you can see, because it gives me what I need without worrying about the vinyl doing what it has to do. And in this case, I don't want it to take a letter that it doesn't support. It doesn't. It take a letter that it shouldn't take. Where's my pick? There it is. Let's take this. It's easier to work with small pieces and get it right than to try to rush it and take large pieces. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take some of this white off. I don't need all that. That's going to be a waste of transfer paper as well.